What's up, guys? Zanari here, and today I'm going to be doing a market watch for Bermuda Triangle until VBT 15 Twinkle Melody. So, how are these typically going to go? I'm going to do both formats. I'm going to go through all the important pieces and cards for the decks, and I'm just going to talk about why the prices might be the way that they are. For viewership for the future and until now, I'll be using timestamps in the description below. So if you are wondering about a particular card, you can just skip to it. So without further ado, let's get started. First, we're going to be starting with standard, and I'm going to be talking about the melody cards. So first off, we have the VR. She is $15 at the moment of this week. She's the main important card that you want for the deck to call out your melodies. Next, we have Caro. She's about $20. Again, she's an important part of the deck because she gives all your grade 3s and melodies boost, as well as her versatility and premium. I won't be talking about the other melodies, just because their prices are so low. There's no point of talking about them. Next, I'm going to be talking about the PG from Primary Melody first. It's $7.47. It's at a good price for right now, but it did increase, I believe, because of the Riviere Twinkle Melody. The festival version is a little cheaper, but still they're both about the same. So if you want to get into the deck of melody or just Bermuda at all, you're going to have these PGs, but they are being reprinted in Twinkle Melody, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Next, we got the Highlander cards, the grade 4s, and Akaza. In my opinion, I don't think the price is that reasonable because of the meta how it is right now. But being able to get any type of marker that you want by getting your effect is reasonable, but still for the price it is, I don't believe it's that reasonable. Now we have Irena. I think is a very important piece to Highlander. She's about $7 right now. In my opinion, you might want to pick up 2 if you're planning on making a deck of Highlander. She's a very good card. It's basically a +4 if you get off her effect. Or 2 force markers or whatever support we get in Twinkle Melody. It's a pretty good boss that you want to ride and pressure your opponent. Next, you have Laura. Her price is about $9 to $10. It's pretty reasonable why she's this price, because you can essentially call any card from the top that you reveal for her effect, and I'll get 10,000 power. It's a pretty strong effect that you want to get off somewhere around the late game where you have multiple markers, so it's a good game closer, same as Irena. Next, we're on Crystal Melody, and we have Riviere at the time of the recording. She is about $15. Mainly due to her being a strong card in standard, as well as her being an enabler in premium. She's a super good card. I think she's well costed. I won't be talking about the grade 1s or grade 2s, since those are pretty usually cheaper enough to get. Unless they skyrocket in price, I will review them, but I'm just going to be reviewing the VRs for right now. Next, we have Coral. She's about $7-8, however you want to say it. Like, she's usually played with Riviere in a current metagame. Her price is pretty reasonable. It might be because she's a popular unit compared to Pacifica, but either way, this is the price of it at the moment of this week. Next, we have Top Out Pacifica, which is fairly cheap, to be honest. I got the deck, like all the main core pieces, for like about $25. That was a couple of months ago, but her price has been pretty much the same ever since when I bought Pacifica, and she's still seeing play in the current meta game. So I think if you're planning on building Pacifica, now is a good time to get this card and to get rest of the pieces, since it isn't that expensive. Next, we're going to talk about the grade 2 melody, Sonata. Right now she's like $1. I recommend if you're playing Melody, buy this now, because if there's some insane support, Sonata is definitely going to be one of the grade 2s that you want in the deck, just to boost all your melodies if you're attacking her or just boosting her. Again, that's why Carol's 20, because of her versatility and premium and her being an amazing booster for the melody deck. Next we have grade 2 Carol. Her price right now is about $9 to $10. Before, this was like 15 when Riviere was at the top, but now is gone down over time. With her for the melody deck, you could play her. If you're planning on building Riviere, I recommend you do buy her now. Same, because Riviere's price is sort of average right now. So if you want to play Riviere, I recommend getting Carol, so you can just get Riviere into your hand and start doing all your shenanigans with the rewriting. And also, Carol is a future-proofed card, as in any card that you get from that might come out in Twinkle Melody might be used for that deck. So if you're wondering what type of stables you should get, which I will do a video about it later, definitely Carol is one of the stables that you might want to get. And lastly, for standard, we have Eve, which it was surprising because her price wasn't nearly 20 when I looked at it before. I think she's being bought out because there's only a couple listings for her right now. Yeah. Mostly due to how like super generic she is, and her effect is very powerful. It's just a slow card. It's a turn 4 card, basically, to get it off. So if you can survive until that time, then yeah, you're pretty good, and you have a pretty stable defense if you get a trigger, a critical trigger. No, a trigger. And you have free bluffing if your Rigard circles are open. So yeah. I did forget another card, but I forgot about Stasia. Apologies. Her price is about $4, which is reasonable. It was way more expensive around the time of Riviere was tier 1. But anyway, I'm going to start moving on to premium, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, so now on to the premium stuff. I'm going to be doing these based off decks. So the first deck we're going to go through is Prism. And the first main card that I'm pretty sure most of you guys know is Prism Image Sunshine Vert. At first, when she was revealed, she was like 25. Everyone's buying it out. The SP of the wedding dress SP is gone. There's no more. But her price settled down now. So do you really need Sunshine Vert? Unfortunately, yes, if you're planning to play the Prism deck, you need at least 2 because it is a Persona flip. It's a next stage copy, just a little bit more hand costly. Can't be damage denied out of it. It's a card you need for the deck. It's always been like that since Blessed Divas. It is still a powerful card since Vert is getting force markers and Prisms are getting support in standard. It might just make it come back to be relevant in premium. Next, I think a card people should start buying is Prism Image Sunshine Clear. The fact that its ability is Counterboss 1. You choose her from your hand and reveal it, and you return it to the deck. When she's returned to hand, if you have Vanguard Prism, you pay the cost. Basically, you can search your deck up to 1 Vert, Rosa, or Clear. You can call it to RC. If you called it, you can return hand. Basically, she searches Vert, and if there's any support with Clear or Rosa in Twinkle Melody, you can call those cards from the deck. So it's pretty cool. She's cheap right now, but she might go up in price once Vert's effect is revealed and people start figuring out combos. So if you want to play Prisms, get her early while she's cheap now. Next card is a Stride that was pretty old for Calvin Divas. Prism Promise Princess Labrador. She's about $2. She is a Persona flip. Basically, do I think that you should get this card? Maybe not. It's really slow in the current metagame. However, if you're just playing it for fun and you just want a budget option, she's good because you can't get damage denied. Out of her effect to return 2 rear guards after the attack that it boosted, or if it attacks, you can just return the hand and it get 5k power. It's really good. You can get off some effects, and yeah, that's all I'd say about Labrador. Next, another card that I think people should start buying now is brand new Prism Shiny Garnet. This card is essentially the premium collection cards. You could copy the heart of your Prism in her Limit Break 5. Yes, it's a Limit Break 5 skill. Basically, all your Prisms in their name get 1 critical. With with standard, we don't know what Prisms are going to do, but this is a super generic support for them. As in, it doesn't require the bounce or anything. It's like, if you get Limit Break 5, boom. They all get a critical. If they multi-attack as standard, cool, you multi-attack as standard. She is 50 cents right now. You should buy her before Vert gets revealed if you're playing Prisms. So yes, that's what I have to say about Garnet. Next, another card I believe you should get. It's a lot of Prism cards because they have so much utility. Is Prism Promise Princess Late. Basically, when she's returned from RC, if you have Prism in your Vanguard's name, you countercharge Soul Charge 1 and choose one of your rear guards or one of your units. Get it plus 4,000 power. It's a once a turn, but this isn't a hard once a turn, so you keep returning the hand and keep using the effects. However, you cannot normal call her for the rest of the turn. So once you do it in the main phase, you have to superior call her from hand, which is fine because Prisms already did that in Premium. They will call cards from hand and you can return it. And we have more cards that could do that in Premium now. She is the resource engine of Prisms, and she will always be the resource engine until there's another card that's better. So buy her now while she's cheap. Another card that came out in Prismatic Divas is Orient Prism Kaname. Right now she's $4, which is questionable. By the way, basically when she attacks, you count as 1 Persona flip. Choose 2 of your rear guards to return the hand. They don't have to be Prism, but if you have a Prism heart in his name, you choose the 2 Prism cards from your hand. And for each face-up card you G-zone, you call it a separate RC. If you call 3 or more units, this unit gets a crit. So basically, you know how Olivia is sort of GB2, and Alk needs you to have a harmony in the name to get her extra attacks. Kaname kind of just says if you have Prism in his name, you call cards from your hand, and they can go to any RC basically. As long as they're not on the same RC, is separate, so it's more freer. Even though it is a persona flip, any cards in standard that if I have like a strong on place effect, this card will be really useful for that. I'm pretty sure you won't be getting off the critical effect, but that's why the force marker, you can just put force 2 on the Vanguard, boom, you get your crit for free. So yeah, do I recommend picking it up? Maybe, until we get some Prism reveals, but for right now, we are just on hold for right now. If you want to get her, get her. If not, you don't have to get her. Next, I want to talk about Prism Image Vert. She's about $1.50. I don't recommend you getting this now. However, if there's like a powerful break ride combo, I recommend getting her. Now, this might not work with obviously the Vert we're getting in Twinkle Melody because they have the same name. However, that's also like clear might be important because you can search any Vert out. So if you want the break ride Vert, you can get her. If you want the standard Vert, you can get her as well. Next, I want to talk about brand new Prism Flash Sapphire. She was a Sentinel from Divas Festa. She's cheap right now. This is a specific PG for Prisms, and when you're this is mainly for Garnet, especially since you don't want to be at limit break 5 damage. She can make it to limit break 4. Prisms do have well, Bermuda has a grade 1 that just allows you to use your limit break effects while having limit break. So if you play that in your deck, you could call it enable your limit break 5 and there. Get your crits and get your standard stuff going. So on to the next deck. Alright, the next deck we are on is duos. So when Mir was revealed not too long ago, her SPs ran out of dual Amazing Sister Mir. There's only a couple on the market, but if you're planning on playing duos, you do want Mir, just because that she enables you to draw a bunch of cards and can give you power and crit. It's not that big, but we don't know what Mir is going to do in standard to make this even better, or what support is going to come. She's super cheap right now, and she's going to be a pretty staple card for duos, hopefully, but that might change in the future depending on what support that they get. So next, we're going to talk about a dual Absolute Sister Mir, which is only Sense. This was a reprint in Divas Fest, Prismatic Divas, my bad. Basically, you have Mir as your heart. You return one of your dual rear guards to the hand, and you can search your deck up to a Mir. So you just filter your deck of Mirs. You have 3 cards with the same name, and they don't have to be dual, by the way. You can search up for another Mir. So this was used in Limit Break to get both your Mirs, to get your Break Rat combo off, and do some cool shenanigans or whatever. But now that Mir seems to be a grade 3. With Force, you can just search your forces out and thin your deck, and just get all the cards you need for a combo, whatever the combo might be. So yes, if you're looking to play the Mir deck, you're gonna want Mir. Next, we're gonna talk about Dual Everlasting Rate. She's $1 right now. She came out Prismatic Divas, and she's a very underwhelming card. She's very underwhelming. The fact is Limit Break 4, Karabas 1 and discard 3 cards with the same name. Just to get like a restand for the Vanguard, but you have to take another rate from the G zone and place on Vanguard Circle. Unless duos as standard are getting like some massive power for the turn, this card is not really good. You get like 5 drive, but you have to discard 3 cards, so it's not really washing out. It's sort of like a wash. But if you are playing duos, you do need, you might want to, because we don't know what Mir is gonna do. So it's not that expensive. So if you got like $2 to $3 to spare, you can drop it on her. Next, an important card that if you're playing duos, you must have, because this card is really good, is Dual Love Joker Chulum. It doesn't matter which version you want. I like the white version. Anyway, basically, when your other rear guard is returned from your hand, if you have a dual Vanguard, you combos 1 and put this at the top of your deck. If you do, you can search a card with the same name that's returned to your hand. Return your opponent, shuffle your deck. Basically, if you return a PG, you search for a PG. This is not even like dual CB restricted. All you need is a dual Vanguard. You could get important pieces, as you know, like for those who played in Breakout Air, they know about how Namul and Chulum was able to just get their pieces and things and just mass draw. Basically, even in premium, even if duos as themselves aren't good, just because I have Mir as a Force Vanguard in this card to search out any card that they specifically need, it is just really good. So if you're playing on duos, buy Chulum. Next, another card, Dual Eternal Sister Mir. She's very cheap right now. So for this Mir, if The mirror that's going to be revealed is a dual true sister mirror. You can actually use a limit break effect. You can get another force marker. So let's say your opponent pushes you to 4 or something like that, and you soul charge somehow mirror in the soul. You get a force marker. Whatever shenanigans mirror and Bermuda is gonna do, this mirror can use the limit break effect and get an extra force marker and attack again. So yeah. And lastly, I want to talk about dual achievement promise Camilla. Camilla, whatever. But this card was in abundance in Divas Festa. So basically, it's like the Prism PG, as in you choose your dual unit or Vanguard. You have to choose a dual card from your hand to discard it. And you have a dual card on your Vanguard circle. You can choose one of your units that's being attacked. It can't be hit in a battle. Of course, Sentinel. Then you can choose up to 3 cards of duo in his name for your drop zone. Put them in the bottom deck in any order. If 3 cards with the same name were put to the bottom, draw a card, counters 1. Before V Series, you can just put all your heals back. You keep G guarding, keep refreshing your deck, and thinning out with triggers. Since Chouchou already fills the deck up with crits, albeit there are 5k, you can just keep refilling it with dual units. So whatever they get in standard, if you get a bunch of like important units starting to drop, hey, PG with her, just put the bat to deck. So that is it for the dual deck, and we're going to go to the next one. Alright, for the next deck, we're going to be talking about Chouchou. Since Tura is one of the reveal cards for in standard. So we're going to talk about the main unit, which is Chouchou, popular favorite Tura. Her cost at the time is $20, near $20. This card is pretty important, not just for Chouchou, but for the clan itself. It's a generic restander. She gets massive with force markers. It force 2. She's a really pressuring unit. So I would say the price is pretty reasonable. You want about 1 or 2. Next, we have Chouchou Sonia. This card is pretty cheap, like less than $1. Pretty much, the main use of this card is for you to look for your grade 2 and greater units by discarding grade 3. So you could basically look for Tura with this card. And also, if you have Tura on your Vanguard, if the name of the Tura is Chouchou Debut Stage Tura, you could stride by putting her to the drop zone and from hand too. So she's basically a stride fodder for Tura herself. The next card is Chouchou Clinis. She was a trial deck card. Basically, she's a Abyssal clone for Tura. So you look at the top 7. If you see a Tura, you add to hand, you put cards in your hand that summons 3 or greater and discard them. Then the second effect is basically a counter charger for Tura. So at the end of your turn, you have Tura, Sowas 1, puts you in the bottom deck, and you counters 1. Pretty good for resources. It's pretty good since Tura, it doesn't need a specific Tura. Just get some counter charge. Next card is Chouchou. So sort of similar to the dual card, you need to have Chouchou in your name to discard it. You can pretty much block an attack for any of your units. Then in the drop zone, if you combat 1, you choose another one of her in your drop zone, put it in the bottom deck. But regardless, put to the bottom of your deck during your turn, you return out of hand. So you can recycle your PGs. Recur your PGs from the drop zone. It's about $1. So I'm not sure if you're going to have this as a staple, but it's always an option for the deck. Next, we have Chouchou Headliner Lapria. Her price is about $4, $5 in some cases. So basically, this could be used generically too. But basically, when you attack, you combat 1, Persona Flip. You choose 2 your rear guards for each face-up card of your G-Zone, puts them in the bottom deck. You draw the same amount, Then you have a card with Chouchou in its name as your heart. You draw an extra card. If you drew 4 cards or more, you call up to 5 cards in your hand and call it an RC. So all you need to do out of the Chouchou heart is this Tura's getting force. I'm pretty sure she might be a grade 3. You get extra attacks if you drew 4. So for each card your G zone, you could just draw it, like kind of fix your hand a bit. So for the price that she's is right now, it's pretty good. And the last card I want to talk about is Chouchou Sarah. This card is a card I do recommend you getting since it's very generic. So basically, Karma's 1, you put this in the soul at the end of your battle where your Chouchou Vanguard attacked. You can draw a card, choose a card with Chouchou for your hand, and call it RC. And that unit gets 5k power. Any Chouchou cards that might be in Twinkle Melody will be able to be played with this. If not, any of the older G Chouchou cards can be played with Tura. Basically, just get more multi-attack, filter your hand, and do more, basically more attacks for CB1 and plusing 1 to the soul. So we are done with Chouchou. On to the next deck. Next deck, we're going to be talking about Riviere. After this, there'll be Coral as well, so I'm just going to combine the two. Since this is a lower amount of cards. So we got Legendary Owl Riviere. Basically, this card is just used for when you do your tourist plays, and you get superior stride into Legendary Owl Riviere if you have Riviere as your heart. Mostly people don't use the Fed. It's more like another Sea Breeze in that case if you get enough damage to superior stride. So her being $22, I don't really think that's reasonable. Most people only play 1 or 2. So if you're planning on playing Riviere, 1 might be necessary. But either way, depending on the support that Riviere is getting in Twinkle Melody, you might not be able to play her. Or you might not have to play her. But these are one of the key strides you should look out for. If there's like a cheap price or someone selling it for cheap, definitely pick it up. Next, another important card is Spirited Star Taurus. So this card basically allows you to ride your Riviere. If you have a grade 2 or greater Vanguard, you basically you call her, put a card from your hand to the deck. You can ride a top out Riviere, which for standard you get a force marker, you get her effects and other stuff like that. Her price is pretty good right now for being such a good card. For $5, a playset for 20 is pretty fine, especially for an extremely strong card like this. Her second skill is if you have a grade 4 Vanguard Riviere in its name. So if you have Riviere in the as your heart, it gains the Fed and she can restand. Pretty good enabler for multi attacks, and it's a pretty good card. So definitely want to pick her up. Lastly, another card. She's pretty cheap. Maturity Talent Selena. Basically, if you have Memory Owl Riviere on your Vanguard, you can search for Super Owl Riviere. You can write it as stand. You put it in the soul and discard a card for the cost. And when your Vanguard Riviere name attacks, you can return this card to hand and you can call it to RC. Basically, it's a free multi-attack, and it basically allows you to speed up your deck. There is a grade 1 that does it for the grade 1 Riviere, but they're both cheap. The reason I'm putting this right here now is because of her second skill is really powerful. It's just so free. You get extra multi-attack for no cost, basically. Just have Riviere on your Vanguard circle. So the next deck we're going to talk about is Coral. So we have Frontier Star Coral. She was way more expensive back then, but now she's a reasonable price. Kind of wish I kind of bought her at this price, but oh well. Basically, when she attacks, you count -1. You turn any face card face down. You still charge 1. Then choose your same number of rear guards as the number of corals in your soul. Return to hand. For each return, she gets 5,000 power. Then, if you have 2 or more cards face up with Frontier Star Coral in your G zone, you draw a card, choose 2 cards from your hand, and call them. So she allows extra attacks. If you have corals in soul, you could draw. You soul charge. So basically, she's sort of Olivia, but like with less restrictions, other than you flipping up another Frontier Star Coral. The price is reasonable, like I said. Another card that supports Frontier is Arcadia Star Coral, which is a pretty good first stride in the deck. She's about $3, which is reasonable because you only need like 1 or 2. In my opinion, you might run more. It's okay to run more. So if you have Coral as your heart, you can turn a face down Coral with Coral in his name, turn face up, so Frontier is your target. Choose one of your rear guards, return it to your hand. So deck up to 1 card, you can put it to your soul. And then you can choose the same number of cards with Coral in your soul as to your rear guards, and they get 2,000 power. And then the Vanguard gets 10k. So it's a pretty big beater. Force 2 is pretty huge. You probably rear guard slightly, and you can fix your soul. It's pretty good. And lastly, the last card I want to talk about is Aurora Star Coral, the Strider version. So this is about $3. I'm pretty sure she was cheaper before, but I'm not too sure about that. So basically, if you have 4 or more corals in your soul, she gets 2,000 power, so she's 13k just without a force marker. Then, on place, or when you stride to your unit with coral in its original card name, you can put a card from your hand to your soul. You draw 2 cards, and then to the end of the turn, you choose your Vanguard, and it gets all your units in the front row. You get 5k for every 2 coral cards in your soul. So your front row is massive. If you multi-attack, you get so many big swings, and it's really, really powerful. And like I said, I think in one of my other videos of choosing between the Strider Coral or the V Series Coral, we'll have to see with the new support for Twinkle Melody. We could go to the V Series Coral, or we could still play the Strider, but I believe Strider just allows so much more draw power, filtering, rather than sacrificing all that power for just a force marker. So with those 2 decks out of the way, I'm going to move on to the next decks. For the next 2 decks, I'm going to be talking about Pacifica and Raindear. First off, we're going to do Twinkle Happiness Pacifica. So basically, she's about an $8 card. For her skill, you can +1, you Persona Flip. If you have a hard card Pacifica, bounce a unit, a rear guard, and you search your deck up to 1 Pacifica, reveal it to your opponent, put it to your hand, choose the 3 cards in your hand with Pacifica, you reveal it, and if you reveal 3 different names, she gets a critical. She speeds up your searches, but for about $7, this is the Winter Collection one, and she has an SP. I think this is the only one that you can get for like base rarity. For $8 to search 1 Pacifica, I don't think it's really worth it. However, the Pacifica deck, if you need to get the Pacificas you need, I recommend still getting this. It's not my first choice in order to search your deck out to get it, since Standard has a couple ways of you search out Pacificas. Even though the grade 3 that supports her searches are only top idol, still, I think it's still might be a play card. Who knows until we get more support. Next, we have Fantastic Passion Pacifica, which is surprisingly $17. I don't remember if this card was way more expensive when Pacifica's released. Basically, for +1, you choose 3 cards from your hand with Pacifica and their different card names to reveal them. When his unit attacks, you return all your rear guards, call it to 5 Pacificas, and call it in a separate RC. Then they get 5,000 power, and GB2, this is you get attacked from the back row. So far, I don't believe the Pacifica deck, I don't really believe is that strong. It could be stronger if we get another Pacifica, but who knows what's going to happen at this point with the support, how they're going to support her. But for the cost of $17, you could just use 1 as a finisher if you're making the deck, because you don't need any GBs for it. Well, you need to be at GB2 in order to get the attack for back row, but you don't need a Persona Flip, so you can just buy 1. So if you're planning on playing Pacifica, I recommend definitely getting at least 1 of these. I don't believe the game will last long enough for you to keep using multiple copies, especially since the G-Gar options for Bermuda aren't that strong. And yeah. So basically, in Want Fantastic Passion, get her at least one. Twinkle, you have to have two in order to use her fetch. So last card I want to talk about for Pacifica is Friend of the Sun Marika. She's 50 cents. So basically, what she's returned to your hand, you have a Vanguard or Pacifica. You just search up to one Pacifica, add it to your hand. They get you 3 cards with Pacifica in your hand. It's all different. You counter trust one, soul trust one. You choose one of your units to get 5k power. It's any other turn. She's just a free search for any Pacifica. If you bounce her, cool. If you keep bouncing her, keep getting Pacificas. It's not hard once a turn. If you have 3 different names, you get resources. Pretty good card. If you want to play Pacifica, this is a card that you should get for the deck. Next, I'm going to be talking about Reindeer. Sorry about that. So we got her Stride, Song of Gracious Reindeer. She's about $6, a pretty reasonable price, since her skill is when you reveal a grade 3 during your drive check, if you have a hard card Reindeer's name, you card boss 1, soul boss 1. You choose a face down card with the same name as her your G zone and turn face up. If you do, you choose one of your regards to return to hand. And this unit gets 3 dots of power when drive to the end of battle. So basically, the more grade 3s you keep checking, the more drives you can get, you keep going and keep going. With the next card coming up, you can make your field really, really powerful just to like OTK them in one turn. It was very possible when Prismatic Divas came out, and then especially when the new Reindeer for Divas Festa came out. This is a very potent card for the deck. It was really good, and Reindeer finally got the support to push her up there for just being this weird sort of a stride, a deck while a main stride. Now, the card I alluded to before, Velvet Voice Reindeer, just like Coral, she got a Strider in Divas Festa. This card is really cheap, and if you're picking up Reindeer, depending on what name Reindeer is going to be revealed, I will say you should definitely get this. It's very cheap. It's not going to lose you a bunch. So basically, when she's revealed during a drive check, choose one you use a Reindeer, and it's basically a critical trigger. So it's like Amaterasu a little bit. You don't have to discard. So she acts as a pseudo critical trigger, but you have to pay the cost of discarding a card. Which is really good because you can put it onto other Reindeers that might be on the rear guard or the Vanguard that gets multiple checks. And her stride skill is really amazing. So one place or when your junior strides, so you can put her in the vanilla deck. Basically, the Vanguard gets when you drive check a grade 3, all your rear guards get 5,000 power to the end of the turn. If you keep checking grade 3s, you can keep getting more drives with stride, and you keep getting more power for the rear guards, especially if they can like restand or they can do other shenanigans that might be revealed later. It's still a pretty good card. So, and lastly, an older card from Blessed Divas is Peaceful Voice Reindeer. She's about a $4 card. She's a little bit outdated, but she still has some uses. So basically on Vanguard Circle, choose a card for your hand, put it to the soul. When you drive check a grade 3, choose one of your rear guards to return to hand. And if there was a Velvet Voice Reindeer in your soul or your trigger zone, usually gets 1 drive to the end of the turn. You're probably wondering how you're going to utilize this in premium. Her second effect is Cowboys 2. At the end of the battle that you drive check a revealed card with Reindeer, you can place this unit as stand on your Vanguard Circle. If you do, this unit gets -1 drive. So basically you stride. You could do any like generic stride. Say like you was using Reindeer, the Reindeer stride. CB2. If you reveal Reindeer, CB2, you can place on Vanguard Circle. Especially after the Strider, she gets massive power. Bam, you get extra Vanguard attack. And if you have Velvet Voice in your soul, which the Strider is, hey, look, you get extra drive. So you get your twin drive back again. So I'm going to move on to the last deck. And then after that, we're going to talk about some other Bermuda cards or cards that you should consider looking for to buy in premium. Alright, for the last deck, we have Harmony. So we have the strat from Premium Collection 2019, Dearly Desired Grand Stage, Shawnee. So she's very cheap for her cards, but she's very effective and very generic in the sort of sense that basically when you attack with her, you cast one, G-Zone, flip any card, look at the top 10 cards of your deck, call up to the same number of cards as there are units in Harmony to RC, shuffle your deck. Her first effect is if you have 6 more units of Harmony, this unit gets a credit for each face-up card of G-Zone. So basically, even if you don't play Harmony, call a card behind her, you get 2 cards. You CB1, call 2 cards from the top 10 of your deck. It could be a good first vanilla stride if you don't have any like big setup plays or anything. And it's really good at Harmony just to call more cards if you have more cards in Harmony. She's very cheap, so you should get her. Maybe as a tech, one of in other decks as well. Next card we got is Student Council President Auk from Divas Festa. She's only $1. And this is really a Harmony supported card, so you can't really tech her in other decks unless you have the Harmony engine and cards. So basically, you Persona Flip, Counter Boss 1, choose 2 of your rear guards with the Harmony ability. You need to have the Harmony ability and return the hand. Then the Vanguard gets, choose up to choose the number of your rear guards as face up cards you choose up +1. So if you have 1, you can choose 2. Return them up to your hand and choose 2 cards from your hand and call them to separate RC. So you get multi attacks. Then GB3, our user Harmony get 5k power. A power card for Harmony, pretty much the only card that you want to be striding if you're trying to end the game. Unless you have Tura, but still, it's a very cheap card. You should pick her up. Again, it's a very important card for Harmony. Next, another important card for Harmony is Garnet Paulownia. She was way more expensive when Anj, Melody, and Harmony was a deck. So basically, she has super simple skill. Oh, she has 2 skills. First is Harmony. Second skill, GB1. When this unit becomes a Harmony, choose one of your units and it gets the Harmony ability. That's very important. The second skill, the last skill, forgot about this one. You count about one, rest her. All your units in the same column and row as this unit get 5k power. If you have extra CB, you could power up some units. Sort of only like 2 to 3 units are getting the power. But her second effect is mainly important because you can give units without Harmony just to give the ability to them. However, it needs to be GB1 to activate it. So still a very important card just to give standard units the Harmony ability. So her price is pretty reasonable. I expect it to drop a bit more after the set though. Sorry about that. Anyway, next card is Gifa for Shani. She has 2 skills. She's less than 50 cents. So you can buy her if you want to get Harmony. So basically, she has Harmony. Then Kamos 1, Vanguard Circle or Rear Circle at the beginning of your battle phase. Pay the cost. If you do, draw a card for every 3 units in Harmony. If the number of your units in Harmony is 4 or more, this unit gets 5k power to the end of the turn. So basically, you have 4 units in Harmony, which I'm not sure how you're going to have 3 units in Harmony, but who knows. So you have 4 units in Harmony, you draw 1, and you get plus 5k. You have 6, you draw 2, and she gets plus 5k. Really good card for the early game. She was really important back then, but now she's getting out-creeped by all these other cards. So if you still want to play Harmony, she's still a key feature in that because she has Harmony, and she can give you an early plus. Also, if you have multiple copies of her, where you stride, you have Open CB, you can draw multiple cards. Another card that's just a couple cents is Noah Dressakari. Again, she has Harmony, and her skill is RC. When an attack it hits during the battle that attacked or boosted. If this unit is Harmony, you may pay a cost. If you do, you draw a card, choose one of your rear guards with the Harmony ability, return it to hand. So if you call Shandi and her in the same column, bounce Shani back, draw extra card, and you drew a card from Shani, grade 2 Shani. Pretty good. You get soul back, you get early game pressure, and the fact that you can even hit a rear guard, it's still activate its effect is really good. So next card I want to talk about is Miracle Twin Tail Wiz. She's like $1. She was way more expensive at the time when Melody, Ange, Harmony was a thing. But she has 2 effects. Basically, you choose one of your Vanguards, discard a card, and they can't get hit, and then battle. Harmony, the GB1, choose a card from your hand to discard it at the end of each turn. If this unit is in Harmony, you may pay a cost. If you do, return this unit to your hand. So basically, call off Shawnee. She will automatically be in Harmony. And discard a card, get a PG. Cool. You did it. You got a PG from your deck. Pretty good card for Harmony. You call her early. You can bounce her back. Well, maybe some future cards we might get in the set, but yeah, good card for Harmony. Now, lastly, I wanted to talk about Shizuku's. I got them all here on this page. So basically, we got full Bright Wish Shizuku. She's surprisingly $4, which I didn't think she'd be like that. Basically, this card on place, you come as 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal to 1 grade 2 Shizuku in his name, or a grade 3, and you could put it into your. No, you could reveal up to 1 grade 3 with Shizuku, or a card with Shizuku, and you can put it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. I think there's an errata. I'm not sure. I haven't used this card in a while. By the way, you come as 1. Look at the top 5. You have a grade 3 with Shizuku, or a card with Shizuku. You can put it to your hand. Then when you stride, choose one of your Vanguards until the end of the turn. All your cards grade with original, that's grade 2, because it gets grade +1, so they're grade 3s. For the price of $4, I don't see why this is $4. That's just my take on it. So for the next card, we have the grade 3 Shizuku. I'm a grade 2 Shizuku. This is $2. Basically, when she attacks, discard grade 3 in your hand. If you do, she gets 5k power. If she's a Harmony, which she has Harmony, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, search it in 1 grade 3, reveal it to your opponent, put your hand, shuffle your deck. For $2, I don't see why this is $2. Maybe there's something I don't know. I'm not really too sure why this is $2, but if you want to build Shizuku, she's not too important for your deck. The grade 3 is definitely important. So lastly, there was a couple of reprints with grade 1 Shizuku. She's a couple cents, so you can pretty much buy her. So GB1, when this unit becomes Harmony, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal it to 1 grade 3 out of your hand. So basically, it's a delayed grade 3 searcher that you don't have to discard a card. You can use this multiple times in premium by bouncing it back and call out the cards. With the Strider, you can get grade 2s, any important grade 2s, so like your Karos, Sonatas, anything that you're mixing with the deck. So it's pretty good, Definitely a card that you should think about picking up for the deck. Lastly, for Harmony, we have Splendid Fortune Shizuku. Basically, you count mouse 1, choose a card, face Persona Flip. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Put up to 2 grade 3 cards or cards with Shizuku in their name. Under from your hand. Shuffle your deck. And then reveal up to 5 cards with Shizuku. She gets 5,000 power for each one. And your opponent cannot call cards from her hand to guard circle with the same grade as those cards revealed during this battle that she attacked. So basically, it's a huge guard restrict. If you get 1 and a 2, and you might have 3, so you just show you 3. They can't use 1, 2s or 3s. There's a grade 0 Shizuku. She's cheap. There's no point in reviewing it. She's Karamas 1. Go into Soul. Look at the top 3. Add a grade 3 to hand. So it's one of those old grade 3 searchers. Basically, a generic guard restrict if you play grade 1 Shizuku, but as of right now, grade 0s are way more better because they made the draw triggers. So playing grade 0 Shizuku is ideal with this now. Still a pretty good card if you need to tech in some more grade 3 searchers if you don't get the grade 3 you want. So yeah, that is pretty much it for Harmony. Now on to the last few cards I want to talk over. Now finally on to the last few cards I want to talk about for premium. So we got the GB8 Festo Finale Final Pacifica. Based off the GB8, at the end of battle that she attacked a Vanguard, choose a card for hand, discard it. Bounce all your rear guards, call out 5 cards, and get the 5k power. She's about $8. Nobody really plays the GBA anymore. It's not even good anymore, in my opinion. Her being $8, I guess it's just because it's just a GR, and maybe it's not a lot in the market. Yeah, not a lot in the market. You don't have to buy it unless there's some really good combo with her. But BT really doesn't have any GB acceleration other than Highlander in that Terrible Stride, which shouldn't buy. If you're trying to play Capelli, but for fun, yeah, sure, buy it. Next card I want to talk about is Transcend Idol Aqua. She's about $274. And this is a card I think you should buy just in case. She was way more expensive in the past, but since Anj fell out, not a lot of use was for her. Especially since we got Lene, there's no really use for up to having 6 PGs in your deck. So basically, like I said, you can have up to 6 of her in the deck if she's a PG. And basically with her PG effect, if you have 2 or more Sentinels in your drop zone, she's already rear guards and they cannot be hit to the end of turn. So it's a big wide dismal if you have 2 more Sentinels, which you have 6 of her. So you're able to get her in the G zone, and yeah, they can't be hit to the end of battle. So you can protect your Tauruses and any other opponent units that you need. Now, another pretty important card that was used in the past a lot is Amaya Sparkle Spica. This is the promo version because this is the cheapest version you can buy. And basically, her ability is really simple, but it's really powerful. You count plus 1, you need BGB1. When it attacks, if this unit is boosted, if you do, you can choose one of your rear guards, bounce it, it's just a card for hand and call it, and that unit gets 3k power to the end of turn. Just another attack for CB1 if she's boosted. Can extend your attack plays, can do a whole bunch of other stuff. She's very generic. You don't really need much for her, just a booster. And she's really great. For the price that she is right now as a promo, you should get her. Next, I wanted to talk about the on strides. I'm not really too sure of which stride you should be buying, because at the time of recording, it is September 13th. We have the reprinted Anj from Revival Collection. That is what it says here. The market price is about $11, but it's only 9 listings, and the GR from Prismatic Divas, which is about $8. But they're both low listings. I didn't want to recommend people buying them. At most, if you can get one at a super cheap price, definitely get one. You only need one. You don't need 2. And I could talk about the grade 3 Anj, but she's only at 1 you can play in premium. You can pick her up, but I don't think she's going to be played. Next to G guards, it's about Highest Society Citron. I think her price went up a bit. No, it's still the same. Anyway, she's about nearly a $10 card G guard, because this is pretty much the best G guard that you can use at the moment for Bermuda. So basically, what she's placed on Guardian Circle, you choose a grade 1 or greater card from your hand, call it RC. If you call a card, she gets 10k power. 10k shield. It's at the end of battle. You do some nice combo plays with some cards, giving the Vanguard extra power or trigger your effects off of it. So you can use Lieselov to call out another card. It might be Interceptor. It might be a PG that you call get it back later with the next card I'm about to reveal. Her being a $10 G guard is a little questionable, but it is by far one of the stronger cards that Bermuda has the G guards, since Ellie was banned, and for a good reason too. And lastly, the last G guard I wanted to talk about was Hand in Hand Leona. She's about a $4 card. You could just run one of her. Citron, I recommend running 2, by the way. Anyway, when she placed on Guardian Circle, she's one of your rear guards, return to hand. If you if you can choose a card from your hand, call it a GC. If it's the same unit that you bounced, this unit gets 5,000 shielded to the end of battle. So if you have a V Series 10k, bounce it, but a guard circle is 15k, 30k shield for basically a heal. Which I think is pretty good. You could also trigger some pretty cool effects from the old cards. But pretty much that is going to be the end of the first market watch for the week of September 13th to the end of the week. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you got any questions or concerns or more advice, because this is a really long video that I'm making, and I kind of wanted to help people get an idea of what cards they should be looking for, especially if you want to build a specific deck, especially for premium. There's so many cards just because of the boosters that they had. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Zenarion, and I'm signing off.